Joined in the studio and would like to welcome JMPD spokesperson, Senior Superintendent Wayne Minnaar. Thank you so much for coming through this morning. Wayne, before we touch on this, over the weekend you were talking to my colleague Blaine, you're talking about CCTV's cameras in the city that have been pivotal in fighting crime. To what degree does this surveillance deter crime?
Good morning. Yes, there's no doubt that the CCTV surveillance cameras is of a tremendous assistance to the officers, because when the operators see crime or see suspicious behavior, they quickly then call on the officers with whom they are direct radio contact with, and then the officers respond to that particular scene. So we do have a special unit which was launched on the 14th of May by the chief of the JMPD, David Tembe. It's an undercover unit, and their focus mainly and solely is to intercept crime and arrest criminals.
Although it's a big population in
yes,
the CBD, isn't it?
The CBD is highly populated, but with the officers on the ground and then working together with the community, it also helps. So we've got these officers on duty 24 hours a day, and the operators are also monitoring the cameras 24 hours a day.
So one of the big stories yesterday was the suspension of an Ekurhuleni EMPD officer and his supervisor being suspended following a video that went viral on social media showing this officer in a drunken state in an official car, and also having his gun on him. To what extent do you experience similar problems in the on the Johannesburg side?
Fortunately, not drunken behavior, because there is the Internal Affairs Investigation Unit that investigate officers for misconduct. So any form of misbehavior, or where an officer misconducts himself while in uniform in a public space, that gets investigated immediately by the Internal Affairs, and then there's a disciplinary hearing where the officer has to appear, and then they get punished accordingly.
Yeah. We sometimes get reports that Internal Affairs itself protects these officers. How transparent is the process?
Look, it's very transparent, because everyone, including the unions, have access to the process. So where there's wrongdoing on the part of the officer, such officer must appear before a disciplinary tribunal. However, there are other factors also that we have to take into consideration, because the officers work under a lot of stress. They work long hours, and they are also people. They've got families. There are there's a lot that can happen.
Yeah.
So that can trigger a situation or an incident, but to be able to control it to the best of our ability,
yeah,
we have the Internal Affairs to assist.
So some of the big issues that came up in the latest violence that was mainly classified xenophobic, but was dumping and counterfeit goods. We saw pictures of bales and bales of goods that were supposedly not supposed to be here. How are you approaching this scourge?
Yes, that we're doing with a joint operation with all the law enforcement agencies, and then we're also using the brand ambassadors who are able to identify whether it is genuine or not, and where it is counterfeit then has to be taken out of or away from where it's supposed to be, to have been accessible for people to buy for resale.
Yeah.
So such counterfeit items are then taken to warehouses, where after the court cases, that items then get disposed of, because it may not be in circulation. It is a detriment to the economy,
yep,
and it's just not something that we should have.
We're talking about the dumping of goods, the counterfeit goods, the surveillance of citizens, and these are things that are clear to the naked eye. But there's another type of crime, which is white crime, and there were always concerns about the strength of intelligence capabilities within your units. Do you think you have sufficient capability?
You see, surveillance is the responsibility, or rather intelligence gathering or information gathering is the responsibility of a national police. So when it comes to a proper intelligence, that is left to
it's the purview
SABC.
of a different department.
It's a different department. However, the information that we work on definitely assists us, where people give tip-offs.
Okay, we need to wrap up our conversation. Just quickly, what can we expect to come out of this address?
Yeah, out of the press conference, I think is definitely information that can help us in planning going forward. But at the same time also to give information to the community for people to be able to see what the Metro Police is doing in the city of Johannesburg, and for the city also and the citizens and the community to be able to give us information for us to be able to improve on our operations.
We'll be looking out for it when it happens. Thanks again, Wayne Minnaar, for coming.